class! Now we've finished our read aloud, I think it's time that I teach you all about plot structure. We've got the exposition, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. Since our read aloud was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, I'm going to relate these components of plot structure to this book. Now let's get started. In the exposition of the novel, we're introduced to our three main characters, Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, and Hermione Granger. The setting of the novel starts off at 4 Privet Drive, where Harry is living with his horrible aunt and uncle, Mr. and Mrs. Dursley, and his cousin Dudley. However, when Harry soon finds out that he's a wizard, he moves to the Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. So some of the background knowledge that we learned is that Harry, who had grown up thinking that he was a muggle or non-wizard his whole life, soon discovers that he is a wizard thanks to Hagrid, the groundskeeper. We also learned that his friend Ron has grown up from a family of wizards, and that his other friend Hermione is a muggle herself. Now that we've finished the exposition, let's move on to rising action. The rising action in a novel occurs when conflict is introduced, whether it be internal conflict with the main character or conflict with other secondary characters. This is also when the main conflict is introduced and what sort of obstacles that the main character has to overcome in order to achieve this goal. So the rising action occurs once Harry arrives at Hogwarts, and he learns that he is no ordinary wizard. He is the boy who lived. And this leads to the major conflict between Harry and Voldemort in the novel and the novels following the first book. We also are introduced to some other conflicts between Harry and Draco Malfoy, which is his rival in the school, and some other conflicts such as the break-in at Gringotts and the troll that was let out in the dungeon. So let's now move on to what a climax in a story is. The climax, or turning point of the story, is when the main character makes a huge decision that can change the outcome of the story. In the case of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the climax is during Harry's Quidditch match, where they see Professor Snape muttering to himself, thinking that they're placing a curse on him. This is when the trio realizes that the balance of good and evil has been in effect, and they turn all of their resolve into finding out more about the Sorcerer's Stone and following the trap door. Now the final two components of plot structure are the falling action and the resolution. The falling action occurs once the turning point has occurred and the story is about to get closer to the end. In Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, this happens once the trio goes through to find the Sorcerer's Stone and completes all the tasks that the professors have set up. This also happens in the falling action when Harry faces off with Quirrell, who ends up being the antagonist for the story. Now let's move on to the resolution. The resolution is basically how the story wraps itself up and ends. For Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, this occurs after Harry beats Quirrell, and then we discover some more things about Harry and how the end of his school year went. Well, I hope you enjoyed my presentation on plot structure. Now I want to see you apply this to some other books you've read. Take care!